Chiefs, the Titans, the Raiders, the Vikings, they all won. But are they in the top 10 this week? Thank you so much for tuning in. This is Harvey's Huddle. I'm your host, Jackson Harvey. We had a great week 6, let me tell you. 12-2 in the prediction category. I was pretty excited about my chances of going undefeated until the Raiders pulled out a win, and then the Tennessee Titans, of course, upset the Bills on Monday Night Football. It was a great week of football, especially for me. I was pumped up. 12-2 in predictions, 3-0 in my fantasy teams. It's a good day to be Jackson Harvey, let me tell you. And it's a good day to talk about some football. Every day's a good day to talk about some football. So if you want to head over to my social media channels, we're on Instagram at Harvey's Huddle, on Twitter at Harvey's_Huddle, and we're on Facebook as well. Guess what? Harvey's Huddle is a page name. Go check those out. It's been fun to interact with you this weekend, and every day it's fun to tweet out and post some stuff and see what you guys think, and what you guys think especially about my predictions and what I have to say about different teams around the NFL. Let's head right into the top 10 list, because it's probably my most consistent top 10 list in probably this entire season so far. I don't think I have any new teams in the top 10. In fact, it might be one of the more boring top 10s, but there's a reason, and I think the people that I left out of the top 10 are the reason why it's going to be a little more interesting than the teams that I put in the top 10. At number 10, I've got the Cleveland Browns. I got them falling a little bit. The reason, I think this is a great team still. I think they've got a lot of talent when they're healthy. This whole team has fallen apart in terms of injuries. You got Baker Mayfield now officially out for their Thursday night game against the Broncos. You got Kareem Hunt officially on injured reserve, which means he's out for the next 3 or 4 games. And you've got Nick Chubb, who is ruled out for his second straight week. It's a tough time for a Cleveland Browns team who they really have an identity with those 3 players, Baker Mayfield, Nick Chubb, and Kareem Hunt. I don't know if they're necessarily above top 10. They might even be out of the top 10, depending on how Thursday night goes with Case Keenum, but we will see. At number 9, I've got the Cincinnati Bengals. They're a young team. I've talked about how impressed I've been with them this season. Everyone's been really impressed with them. The big test is going to come this week against Baltimore. Divisional matchup, top 2 teams in the division so far. It's going to be a huge test, and the biggest test of the season for this young team. At number 8, I've got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He's balling out, but the defensive side of the ball, especially when it comes to the passing game, is definitely the weakness in this Tampa Bay Buccaneers team. I think that a lot of people have them in a top 5 position, which I think is ridiculous. They haven't been nearly as good as any of the other teams, in my opinion, but they definitely deserve at least in the top 10. Number 7, I got the Packers again. They don't move a spot for me. Solid win against Chicago. Nothing too crazy, nothing too terrible. They're just pretty good, pretty decent. So good job, Packers. I got the Rams at number 6 again. They dismantled the Giants, but I don't think they'd crack the top 5, just seeing the caliber of football that the top 5 teams that I have are playing. Number 5, I've got the Chargers. They had a tough loss against the Ravens. Very uncharacteristic game for Justin Herbert. Just watching the game, the stats don't lie all the time, but watching the game, he was not making the decisions he usually does. Didn't look as confident as he usually does. It was a rough day to be Justin Herbert, that's for sure. At number 4, I got the Dallas Cowboys. Big, close win against New England. Dak doesn't seem like he can be stopped very much. The defense is doing okay. They lead the league in interceptions, I believe. But they're still allowing some big plays going on. So a lot of people want to talk about Trayvon Diggs and how he deserves to be Defensive Player of the Year. In my opinion, that is completely false. I don't think it should be a stats thing. I think it should be a caliber of play thing. And if your stats coincide with a high caliber of play, then sure, give him Defensive Player of the Year. But the amount of big plays that he is giving up and the amount of yardage that he's giving up at the cornerback position definitely does not warrant a Defensive Player of the Year award. I'm sorry, but I'm not convinced. If he can make some stops and make some better defensive plays other than just interceptions. His interception on Sunday wasn't even really to his credit, and it wasn't really to his credit at all. It was off the fingers of the wide receiver and tipped up to him. I mean, he didn't really have good coverage on the play even. It was a deflection that went to him. And I think he's had a lot of those really, I'm going to say it, lucky breaks. Sure, some of the interceptions have been great plays by him, but a lot of them have been just, he's in the right place at the right time. And yeah, I'll say the L word. I'll say lucky. Sure. And I definitely won't say Defensive Player of the Year for Trayvon Diggs. At number 3, I've got the Baltimore Ravens. Huge team win. Lamar Jackson didn't have the day that he had against the Colts the week before. But this team came together. That defense stepped up and stifled a Chargers defense that looked like it couldn't be stopped. And right now, the Baltimore Ravens, in my opinion, are number 1, number 2 seed in the AFC right now. It'll be interesting to see what'll pan out between them and the Bills, but right now I think they've got the experience and they've got the coaching. Like, props to John Harbaugh. Props to him. He is doing a fantastic job despite being completely ransacked by the injury bug before the season even started. So great job by Harbaugh. Great job by this team. Defense looks like it's really starting to come together, and they are looking like, if not the best team in the AFC, definitely in the number 2 spot for me. At number 2, I've got the Bills. A lot of people had the Bills falling like 6 or 7 spots, and I'm like, what are you doing? The Bills are still the Bills. They are still a good team. They are still a consistent team. Sure, they should have kicked a field goal in the 4th quarter. Absolutely, Sean McDermott is going to say that. However, if this team goes up there on 4th down and does not kick a field goal, but they make it on 4th down, wouldn't everyone be talking about how the Bills are some of the best team, or best? Yeah, it's mind-boggling how they go from, the Bills are this fantastic team, they're doing a great job, they're one of the best teams in the NFL, to, oh man, they're like maybe top 10 if they're lucky. Like, they're not doing that well. Sean McDermott made a really bad decision. He's not that good of a coach. Josh Allen's over. Like, shut up, guys. Josh Allen's a fantastic quarterback. It was funny, actually. I saw a video of one of the guys. I don't know if it was on ESPN or TNT or something. I don't know, but he was saying that the 4th down play didn't work because Taylor Lewan was injured, and so they had a different left tackle in than usual. Taylor Lewan, the Titans left tackle. It was hilarious. I'll have to post it on my page, so keep a lookout for that. But Josh Allen's still the guy that we know he is. This Bills team is a team that does not settle for a tie, but goes for a win, just like we know they are. And they're a great team. They're a great team. And I'm sorry, but I might as well talk about it when I'm talking about the Bills. The Titans are probably the most overrated team in the NFL. And that's like coming completely unbiased from me. AFC South, in terms of division rivalries, I don't have any animosity towards the Titans, but the fact that they are getting so much credit for doing so little this season is mind-boggling. Even the announcers on Monday Night Football, it sounded like the Titans were up by 30 points for most of the game. It was ridiculous. You got the Buffalo Bills, who are arguably the best team in the AFC right now, and you're talking about Ryan Tannehill as if he's the reincarnation of Tom Brady, when the guy is a huge liability. Derrick Henry, I will not take anything away from Derrick Henry. He's a great running back. He's got great talent. In terms of stats, like, sure, he's doing a great job if you don't take out those outliers. And you can't really take out those outliers when it comes to rushing totals. I know that. But when it comes to yards per carry, instead of having a whopping, what did he have? Something 4 or 5 yards per carry. He had about a 3.6 if you take out the two outliers, I believe it was like a negative 3-yard loss and the 76-yard touchdown. You take those out, it's like a 3.6, 3.7, 3.8 yard per carry. Still a pretty decent yard per carry amount, but it's nothing mind-blowing. It's nothing crazy. And it's, again, I'm not taking anything away. He's a fantastic athlete. He is the best running back in football because of the big plays that he makes. But this Tennessee Titans offense is not that great without him and without running him like a dog. Julio Jones is hurt again. I'm going to say it. The Julio Jones experiment after 6 weeks has failed. He's injured again. He hasn't really garnered much in terms of the passing game when he has been on the field. A.J. Brown is having a great season. He's doing a great season. He's having a good season. He did well in this game. He found openings to really get some big plays that they needed. Great job by them. They had a good game. Are they one of the best offenses in the NFL? Heck no. Are they one of the best teams in the NFL? Heck no. Are they even in the top 10? No. Are they in the top 15? Maybe number 15 for me. Maybe number 15. But everyone who's so high on the Titans right now, calm the heck down. It's not. They are not that great. And if no one else is going to say it, I'm going to say it. At number 1, I mean, huge shocker here. I got the Arizona Cardinals. Shout out to me. Pretty narcissistic of me, I guess, but everyone knows the Cardinals are my Super Bowl pick this season. They were before the season started, and I had multiple people reach out to me and tell me how crazy I was. The Cardinals aren't going to be that good of a team. They're going to come out of a really tough NFC West and probably be in third, maybe even last. They're not that great. Well, phooey. They're doing fantastic. They are making plays and getting the wins that they need. In fact, they're getting every single win right now. Props to Arizona. You're doing great. Finding ways to not only win, but to be consistent. And I think that consistency is key in the NFL. There you have it. I got Browns, Bengals, Bucks, Packers, Rams, Chargers, Cowboys, Ravens, Bills, Cardinals. Let me know what you think on those social media channels. And we'll get to those previews for the 2 games. I wanted to choose someone different for one of these games, so I went ahead and chose the Colts taking on the 49ers. Carson Wentz, he went 11-20, 223 yards, 2 touchdowns, and no picks in a dominating win against Houston on Sunday. Jonathan Taylor, he had 14 carries for a whopping 145 yards on the ground and 2 touchdowns. The Colts defense right now, if you remember a year ago, they were one of the best in the league for a couple years. Not doing too well right now. They're allowing 71.9% in terms of completion percentage and passes. That's 30th in the NFL. They're allowing 8.2 yards per attempt, which is 28th in the NFL. They've allowed 15 passing touchdowns in the NFL, or in the season, which is 31st in the NFL. And they're allowing 111.2 quarterback rating on average, which is tied for 31st in the league. Biggest question for me, and biggest surprise for the Colts, is how little Carson Wentz is being talked about. He was being talked about so much when he was with the Eagles because he wasn't doing as well as he had before his knee injury, and it seemed like him and Doug Peterson weren't getting along. Carson Wentz has come out, and he's not having a superstar season, but he's having a very solid season right now. Like, let's give credit where credit is due. He's trying to come back from quite a tough string of seasons, and this guy is balling. He's doing well. He is doesn't have a terrible amount of weapons around him in Indianapolis, but he's still managing to put up some decent numbers. He's still managing to take care of the football. I think he only has like 1 or 2 interceptions on the season, or something really low at least, which is really good for Carson Wentz. He's doing great. So shout out to him. He's never going to hear this probably, but you're doing a great job, guy, and you're really bouncing back. Maybe not the bounce back that everyone's always looking for, where you go from hurt and having a bad couple of seasons to an MVP season, but you're having a good season, guy, and you're doing really well. Jonathan Taylor is a big question for this game. He's going to need to run wild against the 49ers defense. 49ers are one of those teams, in my opinion, they've just been overshadowed this season. They're a decent team, but it's a great NFC West division here. Great group of teams in the NFC in general, and they're being overshadowed in terms of just all-around coverage. Trey Lance, he started in the last game. They're coming off the bye week, so he started 2 weeks ago, 15 of 29, 192 yards, no touchdowns, and an interception in their loss to the Cardinals, where they only lost at 17-10. Pretty good game for them. Lance also had 16 carries for 89 yards and no touchdowns. It doesn't look like Trey Lance is going to start on Sunday Night Football against the Colts. It looks like Jimmy Garoppolo is going to be okay, which gives this team a little more of a chance, I believe, to come out and make this competitive and make this game competitive. Of course, I always love seeing rookies getting starting time. I don't think it should be in their first season, but I do like them getting some playing time, getting some ability to get some real snaps in their first season. Especially, I'm more fine with it with them starting if it's because of an injury. So it's good to see Trey Lance be able to come in, play one game, go on a bye week, and then sit back on the bench for the next week. I think that's a very healthy thing for rookies to do, and I think it's the right move to help him develop as a quarterback, instead of saying, hey Trey, you played a pretty decent game, let's just give you the ball and let you see what you can do and see if you can do better than Jimmy, and if not, then phooey, we don't care about you. I said phooey twice now, that's weird, I shouldn't say that again. The defense for the 49ers, they're allowing 7.0 yards per catch, which is tied for 9th in the NFL. They're also have allowed 1,083 yards through the air, which is tied for 1st in the NFL. And they didn't play last week, which looks kind of good, but they're tied with the Buffalo Bills there, who have faced about 130 more pass attempts than they have. So it's fair to say that it's not great. It's good. Sure, you're first in the NFL in one category, but it's a little more deceiving than not. 8 touchdowns allowed through the air as well, which is 8th in the NFL, and they only have 1 interception on the season, which is tied for second last, 31st in the NFL. In terms of a prediction, I think I'm going to take the Indianapolis Colts here. I'm going to take Jonathan Taylor and Carson Wentz, 31-27 over the 49ers. Next, let's talk about probably one of the more exciting games this weekend. The Cincinnati Bengals taking on the Baltimore Ravens. Joe Burrow, he went 19-29, 271 yards, 3 touchdowns, and an interception on the day. He also had 5 rushes for 20 yards in their dominating win against the Detroit Lions. I definitely thought that win was going to be a lot closer, but they did a great job and handled a Lions team that's been pretty impressive this season. So props to them. Joe Mixon, he had 18 carries for 94 yards. He also had 5 catches out of his 6 targets for 59 yards and a receiving touchdown. Jamar Chase, he had 4 catches out of his 6 targets for 97 yards and 0 touchdowns. The Bengals defense right now, they're allowing 68.4% of passes completed, which is tied for 25th in the NFL, 6.5 yards per pass attempt, which is third in the NFL. Great job. Only 6 passing touchdowns, tied for 4th in the league, and they're allowing an average of 85.9 in terms of quarterback rating, which is 6th in the league. They're also only allowing 3.9 yards per carry on the ground, which is 7th in the NFL. This defense is very much improved over the offseason, so props to Cincinnati. And if you're a Bengals fan, you're loving to see a defense help out Joe Burrow and Joe Mixon on offense. Lamar Jackson, in their win against the Los Angeles Chargers, he went 19-27, 167 yards, 1 touchdown and 2 picks. He also had 8 carries for 51 yards in their statement win against the Chargers. Definitely, like I said, not the game that we saw him have against the Colts on Monday Night Football, but this was a team win. And I gotta mention, if you were in 2017 and you went into a coma and you came out of it last Saturday night and you saw that Devonta Freeman, Latavius Murray, and Le'Veon Bell were all suiting up at running back for the Baltimore Ravens, you would probably slip back into a coma, because that would be absolutely ridiculous to hear. The 2017 All-Star running back trio, they had the following: Devonta Freeman, 9 carries, 53 yards and a touchdown. Latavius Murray, 9 carries, 44 yards and a touchdown. Le'Veon Bell, 8 carries, 18 yards and a touchdown. Great job by those three. Great job by the Ravens for having 3 solid veterans on their team in lieu of their injured running backs. The defense for Baltimore, they're allowing 63.8% of passes to be completed, which is 9th in the league. They're also allowing 492 rushing yards, which is 3rd in the league. But they've only also faced 121 rush attempts, which is the 3rd lowest in the NFL. I think this is going to be a close game. I think it's going to be a great game, but I'm going to take Lamar Jackson over Joe Burrow here. I think he's going to keep it close. I think it's going to be within 10 points at least, and I'm going to take Baltimore winning 30-21 in this one. Hit me up on Instagram or on Twitter or on Facebook, or if you have my phone number, text me. That would be great. Let me know what you think about these. Let me know what you think about my top 10, what you think about my predictions. Keep a lookout for the rest of my predictions to come out soon. Again, I think I'm like, let's see, I was 50-30 last week, so I'm like 62-32 right now, which is a fantastic feeling. Thank you so much for listening. I'm Jackson Harvey. This has been Harvey's Huddle. Take care.